Alright, so what you want to do is first title your page Solving by Factoring. Now I didn't glue this in yet because it's easier for me not to glue it in before I do these notes, because usually in the notebook it gets kind of hard when you have to open the flaps. Okay, so I'm going to do it just on the table. Okay, so again we're looking for the roots. Looking for the roots of these different equations that we've given you here. Okay, so let's start with this one. Now, this is solving by factoring, so we need to go back to all those factoring methods we learned and figure out which method is the best for each one. So let's open it up. So first thing you want to do is make sure it's written in standard form and make it equal to 0. Okay? First we want to look at, can we factor a GCF? If not, or after you do, then think, can I do reverse FOIL or Xbox? Okay? Then, once we do that, we're going to apply the zero product property to find our solutions or find our roots. Okay, so let's talk about the zero product property for a moment. So, the property is, if A times B is equal to 0, that means that either A is 0, equal to 0, or B is 0. One of them has to be 0 in order for them to equal that, right? So, in other words, 5 times what number would be equal to 0? Well, 0. What number times negative 18 would it be equal to 0? Well, it would have to be 0 times negative 18. So down here, what number would I plug in for x to make this equal 0? So in other words, this has to equal 0. So what minus 3 equals 0? 3. So the answer for that, the solution would be x is equal to 3. Okay, so how about here? Well, here I want either this to be 0 or this to be 0. So in order for that factor of parentheses to be equal to 0, I'd plug in 9, because 9 minus 9 is 0. But then also, if I plug in 1 over here, that would also be 0. So 1 minus 1 is 0, so there's actually 2 solutions for that one. And most of these problems, you're going to end up with 2 solutions like this case, where either 9 plugged in would make it equal 0, or 1 plugged in would make it equal 0. Okay? So let's go to the first example. So first we want to see, again, can we factor out a GCF? Okay, well, is there a GCF between x squared and 8x? Yes, they both share an x in common. So I'm going to divide x for both. X squared divided by x is just x. Then I bring down the sign, minus. Then 8x divided by x is just 8. Okay, so there it is factored. Now I have to say to myself, what would I plug in here to x to make it equal 0? Well, just 0, because 0 times whatever's in here is equal to 0. So that's our first solution, x equals 0. Then here, what minus 8 equals 0? Well, 8. So we're really applying the same idea that x is a what? X is a liar. Because if that's minus 8, then the answer is plus 8. Okay, and those are my roots, my solutions, or my x-intercepts. Okay, so now this one. Again, look to see if you can GCF. Well, it looks like 47 and 37 don't have a common factor, but they both have x at least. So I can divide x into both. So I'll take x out. Now if I divide 47x squared divided by x, it just takes away 1x, and I have 47x, plus 37x divided by 1x, that just takes away 1x, so we have no x's there. So the first one is easy. If it's just x out there, or even x with some other number, it's just 0. But it's not so obvious here, because it's not negative 37. If I plug in negative 37, well then I'd have to multiply 47, and that's some huge number, and it won't equal 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything inside the parentheses, because now remember, I want all of this to equal 0. So what I'm going to do is bring it off to the side, 47x plus 37, and make it equal 0. And then I'm going to solve for x. Well, first, I'm going to take that 37, move it over here, or subtract 37. 47x equals minus 37. Divide both sides by 47. And so x equals minus 37 over 47. So that's our solution. So we both have x equals 0 and x equals minus 37 over 47. Now there's a shortcut here. If you notice, the numerator is the same as the second value, or second term in the side. Now it's still negative, so x is still a liar, so if that's plus, our solution will be minus. And if you notice, the denominator, the number on the bottom, is the first coefficient, or the first number in there. And we'll follow that pattern every time. And we'll see that in the fourth example in our notes. Okay, so we'll do one more, and then we'll do the over here. So first we want to see, can we factor out a GCF? Okay, well, x squared, 3x, and 4, they don't have anything in common. Okay, because that's 1, 3, and 4. There's no GCF there. And they all don't have x. So the next thing would be, let's try to factor a reverse FOIL. So in other words, we're going to reverse FOIL to two parentheses like this. That's basically what reverse FOIL means. Okay. Okay, so you could do the quick method. Just put an x and an x here, because I know if this is 1 in the front, I can go straight to this. And what number multiplies to negative 4, but then also adds up to 3? Well, I know 1 and 4, 1 times 4 will make 4, and I can subtract 1 from 4 to get 3, but then which one is negative and which one's plus? Well, if they have to add up to negative 3, that means the larger number has to be minus, and the smaller one has to be plus. And now we use the zero product property. Okay, if that's plus 1, then the answer is minus 1. If that's minus 4, the answer is plus 4. And there's our solutions there. Okay, that's it, and then we'll work out number 4 in class.